Don't believe the hype about you needing this or that in order for you to get started with your video content creation. Because the truth of the matter is that you only need 4 considerations when you're getting started. And that is a camera, some type of lighting, audio, as well as a stabilization system. Now, this holds true whether you are an aspiring YouTuber, whether you're an entrepreneur or a business owner, or even if you are going out there on your own to create your own video production company. When it comes to choosing a camera, you do not need the latest, greatest, or the most expensive camera in order for you to get going. In fact, you can use the camera that is right in your pocket, and that is, of course, your cell phone. With technology these days, the camera on your cell phone is more than enough in order for you to get going. However, if you are choosing to use your cell phone's camera, there are a few considerations for you to keep in mind. And first, you need to decide whether you are going to shoot horizontal or vertically. Now, this will be determined by your end user, right? However you choose to use your video, what exactly are you doing with the video that you are creating? Who is it for? Which platforms you're gonna put it on, etc., etc. Now, of course, this goes with whether you're using your cell phone or if you're using a dedicated camera in order to create your content. But it is something for you to keep in mind either way. Note, if you do decide to use the camera on your cell phone, there are a few functions that may be missing that will be there inherently on a dedicated camera. And that may include adjustment for your exposure triangle or even adjustments for your frames per second. However, it might not be something that you necessarily have to worry about when you are starting out. And once you decide to grow a little bit as a video content creator, you may consider programs such as Filmic Pro in order to get access to these different features. And one of the best things about getting started by using your cell phone is that all you have to do is trim a little at the beginning and trim a little at the end of your video in order for you to have something that you can upload to your different social media sites. Of course, this is only if you are able to get through from start to finish your entire video and get your message out in that one piece. Should you decide to get a dedicated camera for your video content production, you may want to consider something like the Canon M50 Mark II or even the new Sony a6700 in order for you to get going. These cameras are beginner friendly and it will give you quality video footage straight out of the camera. Of course, there are some considerations that come with actually having a dedicated camera. And that goes back to those features that will be missing from your cell phone, such as adjustments to your exposure triangle, your frame rates, as well as your white balance. Now, I'm going to leave a video link down in the description so you can get a little more details on these different functions and how you can use it to your advantage when you are creating your video content. I want to leave you with a few tips for when you are recording yourself. And one, that is to actually look at the lens and not at your screen or at your monitor. Basically, don't look at yourself. When you are looking at your lens, it gives the impression that you are looking your viewers directly in their eyes. This is how it looks when I'm looking directly into the lens. And this is how it looks when I'm looking at the monitor and at myself off to the side of my camera. Now tell me, if someone was speaking to you, where would you want them to be looking? Additionally, when you are recording yourself, you want to give yourself about 5 to 10 seconds of room ambience before you start talking. And this works in a number of ways to your benefit. One, it prevents you from having clipping right at the beginning of your video. For instance, you might hit a record and start speaking right away, and then that first word or first syllable is not picked up by your mic because you didn't give it time to actually start recording. Secondly, when you do give yourself that 5 to 10 seconds, you allow for yourself to compose yourself and get your mind right before you actually start diving into your message. Another benefit of having that 5 to 10 seconds before you start speaking is that it can later be used as room noise or whatever when you are recording if you do decide to go on and start editing your content. For instance, if it's a break in what you're saying, you'll be able to use those 5 to 10 seconds in order to fill that dead silence in order for it to sound like you are still in your room. It might not be something that you notice right away, but it's just a good habit in order for you to get into. Another tip I want to give you is that none of this matters if your messaging is not on point. And when you are creating your videos, one video equals one message, right? One video, one message. If you have another message to put out to your audience, create another video. Next up is lighting. Lighting is super important, and it is highly underrated when it comes to getting quality footage out of your camera. Now, this is whether you're shooting on your phone or if you're shooting with a dedicated camera system. A lot of times people might record some footage and they feel like they're not getting the video they deserve to get, or the video they feel like they should be getting in terms of quality, but their lighting sucks. You will never get a good image if your lighting sucks. And that's just the bottom line of it all. Now, I made a whole video dedicated to getting a professional look on a budget, all with the use of your lighting. I'm going to link that down in the description below so you can take a look. But for now, I want to mention, first of all, if you need a free source of lighting, the sun is always there. Every day you can count on it to show up. You can count on it to rise. There are a few budget-friendly options to consider if you are looking to get lighting specifically for your content creation. And a few brands that you may want to look into are Godox, Small Rigs, or even Amaranth. Now, of the 3 brands that I just mentioned, I recommend that you go with the Amaranth. Now, the reason I recommend that is, for one, is what I use, so I understand the quality that you will get out of it. Secondly, Amaranth comes directly from Aperture. It's like Aperture's child, and Apertures are used on a lot of professional sets, so you can be confident in what you will be getting from the Amaranth line. And of course, it is budget friendly. I don't want to speak too much about lighting because I do have a video specifically for that, and I want to keep this video as short as possible and just give you the basics of what you need to understand to get up and running. Now, before we get to the audio, as well as the stabilizer that you may need for your content creation, if you've been finding any value at all in this video, do me a favor and tap that like button right now so we can get this video in front of more people. Audio is another important aspect that is often overlooked, but it is super important. It can be argued that your audio is more important than your visual aspect. And that is because if someone clicks on a video for a message that they're looking to receive and the video is trash, they are more inclined to still listen to it than if the audio is trash. They're not gonna watch it. It doesn't matter how clean your actual footage is. Now, that is to say, audio is important and it's something that cannot be overlooked. And in order for you to get the best quality audio out of whatever device you are using, your best bet will be to have something that is dedicated to capturing that audio. And the best part about it is that you don't need much in order to get started. You can use a $20 lav and plug it directly into your camera or plug it directly into your phone, and it will be 100x better than what you can get directly from your device. And I want you to actually test out this theory so you can hear for yourself what your audience may be hearing when you decide to skip out and use the audio from your actual device. It doesn't sound great at all. I want you to hear how off-putting your audio sounds when you don't have a dedicated mic. So your best bet is to use an external microphone, even if it's the ones from your headphones. Now, something I want you to be mindful of when you are going out there and purchasing a mic for your video content creation is that you gotta be mindful of what exactly you are recording to. And that is whether you're recording to a camera or if you're recording to your phone, because they require different types of wiring in order for it to work with that device. Now, you may want to look into TRRS and TRS, which basically have to do with the amount of rings around the tip of your actual audio device. Now, for your camera, you will need a TRS input, whereas for your cell phone, you will need a TRRS input. I'm actually in the midst of creating a whole guide about audio for your YouTube videos, so be sure to stick around for that. And if by the time you watch this video is out already, just check the links in the description and I'm sure you'll be able to find it. The last thing we're gonna talk about are stabilizers. Specifically, you will need to pick up a tripod because let's be honest here. How often do you watch videos with people holding up their phone or holding up their cameras? That looks good. And so your best bet will be to have a dedicated stabilizer. And that's whether you're using a dedicated camera or if you're using a cell phone. There are different clips that you can put onto your tripod in order for you to be able to mount your cell phone properly. And of course, they come by default for your actual camera. You do not need to get the most expensive tripod with a fluid drag, pan, tilt, and you don't need all of that if you're getting started. You don't need it at all unless there is a reason that you need it. Maybe you'll need it if you are starting your own video production company, but if you have a limited budget, it's not something that I would necessarily recommend that you go off and blow your budget on straight away. It's always something that you could come back later. It's something that you could build up to as you begin to get more clients and have money coming in. With that out the way, you can just go out and get a ball head and it will serve the purpose that you need for it to serve for your YouTube content, for your video content. You don't need the tallest tripod in the world, and you might be able to get away with a small, short tabletop tripod, which is something that I use on occasion. Maybe not necessarily for my camera, but it is something that I use for my cell phone if I am recording spontaneously or if I'm on a go and vlogging and things of that nature. It's something for you to consider. It's not something that is mandated. I don't want to make this portion of the video too long. In fact, I don't want this video to be long at all. I just wanted to go over right quick exactly what you need in order to get started so that you can start putting out your message to the people that need to hear your message. And these things that I've mentioned in this video, your camera, your lighting, your audio, and your stabilization, those are the only things that you need. And like I said, you don't need to spend a ton of money in order to get your message out to your people. And I don't want you to hold yourself up and hold yourself back from putting out content simply because you don't have the thing that just came out or you don't have what these YouTubers are talking about. And I don't want you to get caught up in the hype. Because check this out, if you are on YouTube and you're looking at gear or whatever, I want you to pay real close attention to how many of these videos are actually just ads. They're just ads attempting to sell you something. And a lot of times you may see a new piece of gear that came out and everyone drops their videos at the same time. Why do you think that is? It's because they were all paid to do so. It's in their contract to do so. Once they say it's sponsored by or this person not paying me to give my opinion, that doesn't matter because they already got paid in one form or another. Whether it is by them actually having the gear and promoting it to you, whether they have an affiliate link in their links for you to purchase and they get a percentage on the back end, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Their job at that point is to simply to sell you that product. Now, while I do have affiliate links as well, I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm here to provide information. And hopefully you found this video useful. Hopefully you was able to take something away from this. Hopefully you actually used the information from within this video in order for you to start creating your own content. I want to thank you for sticking around with me in this video. And like I said, I hope you was able to find something that stuck to you. I hope you was able to take away a message that resonate with you and with where you are currently on your journey. If you do want to watch that video about lighting, you can click this link up right here, and I'll see you in the next one. Love.